Alrighty, I think we're ready to rock and roll. Good afternoon, good morning, good evening, everyone. I realize I did that in the wrong order, nonetheless, and welcome to the latest Connetics College session. My name is Scott, and I am the Managing Director and IELTS teacher at Swoosh English, and we are one of the preparation providers for the IELTS scholarship with Connetics USA. So it's lovely seeing everyone today, regardless if you're with Connetics and Swoosh already, or you're thinking about checking out using our services for your American dreams. So it's lovely seeing everyone. Please keep the comments coming in to the session today. I want this session to be as nice and interactive as possible. So if you're watching on the Swoosh English Facebook channel, the Connetics USA Facebook channel, or YouTube channels, throw your comments in. I want to be able to see you. I want to be able to read your comments and enjoy everything that is coming through today. So welcome, regardless of where you are in the world. And I'm looking forward to getting this session off with you today. So let me just bring up my presentation. We're going to get stuck in to our masterclass today. So we're doing a session on speaking today. Of course, we do a variety of different sessions here as part of Connetics College. But speaking will be the focus and it will be the comments on today. So let's get started. Before we actually get into this 1 hour session today, I just want to see if anyone here, of course, is looking to move to the USA, they are a nurse and they are experienced, and you're looking to bag your dream USA healthcare job. If it is you, which I think it is, type me into the chat box, guys. So type me into the chat box if you are looking for a nursing position in the USA and you think you have the experience and the qualifications that you need to do the job. So throw a little me into the chat box and we'll see if that is you. So some comments are coming in, absolutely lovely. If it is new, we'll keep reading, keep looking as we get a few suggestions coming in. Labelle has said me. Fantastic, Labelle. And we'll see who else is going to be commenting now in a second as well. Now, of course, we're doing an IELTS preparation session today, and the IELTS exam, of course, is one hurdle that many nurses face in their USA healthcare job position. Lots of candidates typically struggle with the IELTS preparation. They struggle with the IELTS exam. What if I could tell you that there was a better way? Before I do that, can you let me know if you are currently struggling or confused about your IELTS preparation at this point as well? If this is you, type struggle into the chat box, please. If you are currently having difficulties with your IELTS prep, you're not sure what to do, you don't know how you're going to be able to pass your IELTS exam. So type struggle into the chat box. Lots of comments coming in here saying, me, I'm having issues with my IELTS exam. I'm looking to move to the USA. And some of you are even typing in struggle as well. Well, it doesn't matter because I want to ensure that there is a good way for you forward with your IELTS preparation. Now, what if you would actually like to prepare for your IELTS, your NCLEX, everything else as part of your USA dream healthcare job move and do it all for free? What if there was a way to do that, guys? If this is something that you're looking for, then type please into the chat box. If you think this is you, type please into the chat box. We'd love to hear your comments. We'd love to read your comments as well. But if you would like to do all of this much easier, much cheaper, then type please into the chat box. Lots of you are saying it precisely, guys. Well, you know what? The good news is that there actually is a way, and it's through Connetics USA and Swoosh English. We're offering an IELTS scholarship plus much more. And you're thinking, that's interesting. Let me tell you a little bit about that before we go into our session today. We are currently partnering with Connetics USA to offer a completely free and successful IELTS review scholarship. That's right, successful and completely free. Inside the course, you're going to get access to a complimentary, complete and comprehensive IELTS review. There will be free IELTS classes each week across all skills and all components of the exam. You get access to free study groups and be partnered with study partners as part of our service. There'll be a free Facebook group for you to interact and join the IELTS success community. We have a free Telegram group at which you can join and get your questions and answer expedited in a much quicker and more interactive way. Every month, there is a Connetics scholarship raffle for extra prizes, and there's an extra support specialist from Connetics as well. In terms of how this course is going to help you, well, check out our Trustpilot and Connetics Trustpilot for all the lovely reviews that we have about the Swoosh English Connetics USA Scholarship. You're going to get access to a complete course with modules and tests designed to assess your skills from the very beginning up to the band score that you need, which is around about a 7 to a 7.5. We will do it all for you throughout our structured and comprehensive learning course. If anyone's having difficulty with their writing, we have 20 chances for you to get your writing corrected by our expert teachers in IELTS Task 1 and IELTS Task 2. As I said, there's a range of classes throughout the week from our expert teachers. You can tune into them whenever they are live, but also you can watch them recorded at any time as well, because we know that you are incredibly busy healthcare professionals. All you have to do is watch the class at any time. There's plenty more to the class, to the course, including your IELTS mock exams, your sample essays, your video courses, your readiness test, and lots of other content and materials that you can use in between the live classes for you to study at your own review under our expert suggestions. We'll get you partnered with speaking partners. We'll get you in the speaking mock exam classes for you to practice your IELTS with, and we'll offer you round-the-clock IELTS support, regardless of where you are in the world, from both the Connetics and the Swoosh English teams. So this is something that's interesting you. Well, what I recommend that you do now is you go straight over to this link here. Click on the link that you will see in the chat box in a minute. It says bit.ly/swooshenglish.usa.com and sign up today to your completely free IELTS scholarship review with us at Swoosh English. It's very, very popular. It works incredibly well, and we would love to see as many of you guys in the IELTS scholarship with us at Swoosh English. Just a reminder that it is completely free, so why not get signed up today, pass your IELTS with Swoosh English and Connetics USA for free, and do all the lovely other things that Connetics USA will offer you to get you in your dream American healthcare job ASAP. All right, guys, so that's that. Let's now get stuck into today's lesson. So we're going to be talking a bit about the speaking subtest today, in particular, looking at part 3 of the speaking exam. We're going to look at how you can buy some thinking time in this part of the speaking test when you get proposed with that question, thinking, that's a very complicated question. I'm not sure how to answer that. How can I give myself more time? Well, we'll give you some tips for that today. You'll get a chance as well to take part in or listen to IELTS Part 3 responses as well. And you'll get a chance to listen to feedback on student performance and give your own. So if you're looking to take part in some practice, IELTS speaking practice today, have a look out for the link that will appear in the chat box, regardless of where you're watching on Facebook and YouTube. Click on that link and you will have a chance to come in to the studio today and join me in the session. And whenever it's ready to do some speaking practice, I will give you a chance to do so. So keep an eye out for that link that will be appearing very, very soon. So guys, before we get stuck into the particular component of that class, and that is the mock speaking and tips for part 3, I want to have a look just very, very quickly at, of course, the speaking assessment criteria. So let me know in the chat box, guys, how well do you know IELTS speaking at this point? Do you know all the criteria that you are assessed on? And do you know as well what you need to do to produce a top score that you need for IELTS speaking to get that band score of 7, 7.5 or above that you need? If not, start doing it ASAP, as you need to be able to benchmark your own performance in the run-up to the exam before you think you are ready to take the exam. So the 4 criteria are pronunciation, fluency and coherence, grammatical range and accuracy, and lexical resource. I'll be doing some assessment on that today. Beginning with pronunciation, you have to think about how accurate, natural, and easy you are to understand. Fluency and coherence, believe it or not, fluency isn't always about the speed in which you speak. Of course, it's one essential component, but you need to think about, can you connect your ideas together as low as if an English speaker would actually speak, or a high English user like yourself would be able to speak. Grammatical range, of course, is the range of grammar that you're using from beginning to end, but also how accurate is your use in of your grammar across those two different criteria. Of course, to get a band score of 7, you won't get everything correct, but you do need to have a good range of grammar that's used quite accurately to get yourself a 7 or above. And then finally, you have your lexical resource. That is your vocabulary. It's your topic-specific vocabulary. It's your more complicated terms, such as idioms and other phrases. Are you able to use those effectively and in a nice, coherent way to give yourself the band score that you need? If you're looking, of course, to do all of that, we can help you with Swoosh English to get you prepped and ready for the Swoosh English for your IELTS speaking exam ASAP. So guys, that's just the criteria. Before we go into the rest of the class, please get your fingers on your chat box wherever you are. If you're watching on a computer, watching on a laptop or a desktop, tablet, whatever, or a mobile phone, please answer the question. What do you know about speaking part 3? So what do you know about speaking part 3 of the IELTS exam? Let me know in the chat box any information that you need in terms of how long is it, how many questions you have to answer, how long you should speak for. Do you think it's difficult? Do you think it's easy? Whatever you think, let me know in the chat box what you know about this component of the exam. I'll go through a few comments here, bring them up and see what you know, and then we'll go into some comments now as well about part 3 of the exam. So you guys are prepped and ready to go ahead of the session very, very, very soon. So some comments coming in here saying speaking part 3 is hard. Yes, of course it's hard. And that's why we want to do a session on that today. Some comments coming in as well, talking about how it's about 4 minutes or so. Okay, that's quite a good guess. That we do think it is approximately 4 minutes or so. And a few more comments coming in asking, actually, can you tell me more about speaking part 3? What do I do? So let's have a look now at a few components of speaking part 3. So you're correct if anyone here was saying it's 4 to 5 minutes. So it's the last part of the speaking exam, and it usually lasts about 4 to 5 minutes in length. In this part of the exam, the examiner will ask some more abstract questions. So less about you and more about the topic in general at quite a high level. It follows on from part 2, the long term. So you'll have done your 2-minute response at this point already, and the questions will follow on from that in the same topic. You will respond based on your knowledge and experience of these questions, but you are encouraged not to talk specifically about yourself. But this is your last chance to show off your language skills. How good and how varied and how accurate and how comprehensive are your language skills? And of course, that's why it's the last part of the speaking exam and arguably the most difficult as well. So you want to do really well in speaking part 3. So here's a quiz. I want you to imagine that you're in a speaking exam at this point, guys, right? And I want you to think, I'm in the speaking exam. I'm in part 3. The examiner asks me a question. I have no idea what he said. I don't know what that question was. There were so many big words coming my way. It was spoken so quickly. I'm very nervous. I was asked a difficult question. I don't know what to do. What would you do in this scenario, guys? Would you do number 1, panic and say nothing, freeze up? Would you start speaking really fast and hope for the best? Yeah, let's just start speaking. The examiner will be happy with what I'm saying because I'm very fluent. Or part 3, take a deep breath, stay calm and control the situation. Let me know what you would do in this scenario. Now, some of you are saying part number 3. Okay, good. Some of you are also saying, I have panicked before and I have said nothing, or I've started speaking incredibly fast in this scenario. Okay, right. The reason why I say this, guys, is just because, of course, you want to do part number 3. You want to stay calm, you want to stay in control, and you want to be able to go on to the next parts of the exam incredibly accurately. But if you are not prepared for this and you let the nerves get the better of you, you can freeze up. You can say nothing. And that's bad if you can't actually regain control. Secondly, you can start speaking incredibly quickly with what you thought was your understanding of the question, but then you're speaking incredibly inaccurately about a topic that you don't actually have a grasp of. The examiner is going to be aware of that and not mark you as well as you can. So what you want to be doing, of course, is number 3, and that is taking a deep breath. Always breathe, always remain calm in the IELTS exam, no matter what. Stay calm and control the situation. So how can you do that, guys? Thank you very much for all your comments coming in. So just to let you know, it is very normal to feel nervous in the IELTS speaking exam. Let me know in the chat box, guys, if you've done the IELTS exam before or you're anticipating doing the IELTS exam. How do you think you'll feel on the day? You will feel nervous because you won't be able to predict precisely what questions you're going to be asked. Yes, you can prepare with a variety of questions across the variety of topics that you're talking about, but you won't be able to know. So how can you ensure that your nerves don't affect your overall performance? You're asked that question, I don't know what to do. How can I stay calm? How can I stay in control? Buy yourself some thinking time when that happens. You need some extra time to regain control of the question. And that's the topic and the skill that we're going to have a look at today. So how can you buy yourself some extra time to think in the IELTS speaking test? Well, there's 4 things we're going to look at today. You can, number 1, respond to the question directly and accurately. You can then rephrase the question, which actually is quite a good technique because it will give you higher marks for your lexical resource because you will essentially be paraphrasing what you have heard, aka putting the question words into your own words. Number 3, we all like to use the phrase I think, but how can we use a more varied response that has the same concept and format and use of the phrase I think? And then fourthly, outline your answer structure and essentially tell the examiner what you're going to be doing in advance. It'll make you feel more calm, more in control, because you've got it in your head already, precisely what you are doing. So let's look at these now one by one and see what we can do with it. So you can respond to the question directly. There's no harm in you saying, right, that question is actually quite difficult. How can I do it? You could say something like, whoa, well, that is an interesting question. That is a difficult question. So you've told the examiner, right, it is hard. I need a bit of extra time to think. And you've given yourself that extra time to think by using this phrase and not having that blank speaking time. You know what? No one's ever asked me that before. Could well happen. It is true. You got yourself some thinking time. That's a great question. Let me think about it. Not bad. I think one of the most important, interesting things about this is nice way to start your question. You framed the question, you give yourself a bit of extra thinking time as well. And you've got your response off to a nice start. Well, firstly, I think this is an interesting question because blah, blah, blah. Take a brief pause. Think about how you can answer. That's an interesting point, and I think I would have to say that, etc., etc. So here are 6 different phrases that we can look into responding to the question from the very beginning. You don't have to say them exactly as they are. In fact, I actually recommend that you mix and match them, but of course get feedback on your usage. But you've responded, you've got your question underway, and you're giving yourself that extra thinking time. Now, you can also rephrase the question as well. You can actually use this to convey to the examiner that you think you've understood the question, which can be great for you to ensure that you're actually on track, you're answering the question appropriately, and give the examiner a chance maybe to rephrase it for you if he thinks that you're not on track or you think that you're on track too. So you could say, what I think about the disaster of climate change, for example, is, okay, I've rephrased that topic and I've rephrased that question. What do I think about how the health education systems in the world need a bit of extra support? Well, give your answer. You mean, what do I think about how urban decay is happening in Western countries, for example? Blah, blah, blah. Answer the question. So if I'm correct, what you're asking me to do is to give my opinion on why smoking should be banned worldwide for those who are under the age of 25, for example. So you've rephrased the question, you've taken the topic there on the tip of your tongue, you've got some marks for lexical resource because you've actually used that question, put it into your own words, and you've given yourself extra time to think and you've also verified in your head and in the examiner's head if you've understood the question appropriately. So have a go at practicing some of these rephrasing questions to assist you and your abilities to get the question under wraps. Okay? Third thing that we can do, nice and simple, is using phrases for I think. We don't want to use I think consistently. It's very, very important that we don't, because we want to vary our language as much as we can. So other words that we can use instead for I think include, as far as I'm concerned, it seems to me that, from where I stand, it is, what I reckon is, I'm convinced that, personally, I consider, give your viewpoint. So here is a few extra phrases that you can use in your own IELTS speaking practice that gives you a greater variety of lexical resource that you can use instead of using I think. And that's what you want to score well under that criteria, is to develop your language, use it flexibly, and use it appropriately as well. So take a note of some of these phrases, guys, and see if we can use them upcoming in this session today, in your own time that you're practicing, or even better, with us in our Swoosh English Connetics Scholarship IELTS speaking classes as well. So the fourth thing that we can do is even outline the answer structure. So we can actually break it down what we're going to talk about. And this is incredibly useful because it helps organize our own thoughts in our heads, and it can even result in a much better answer overall if we've done so. So here's 4 examples that we can look at. Example number 1. I think it really depends on a couple of things. Like, for example, number 1, number 2, number 3. The 3 things you're going to speak about, for example, and then you start speaking about them, give your analysis of what it means, summarize. I guess there are a couple of ways to think about this. Firstly, point number 1, talk about it. Secondly, point number 2. Finally, point number 3, give your analysis, summarize. Thirdly, well, there's a few things at play here. Same thing, firstly, secondly, thirdly, whatever you want to do. There might be 1 point, there might be 2, there might be 3. Start speaking about it. Give your analysis. And then finally, there are several things I could mention. Firstly, finally, however you want to speak about it, and you've outlined what you're going to be speaking about. This can help in your head do a lot of the work for you already, because you're not thinking about your structure. And lots of candidates, of course, are thinking about their structure while they're trying to answer the question too. And that can be a bit overwhelming. It can also be a little bit confusing as well. So that's why it's super important, of course, that you are as prepared as you can in advance for that session. So have a look at that. See if we can practice giving our outline in advance using a few of these structures here. So final tip, just for looking at all of these bang time thinking phrases, is although they can be very, very useful in moments when you need some extra time, what I don't want anyone to do today is to use them for every question. Don't use them for every question at all, because the examiner will be aware of that. It makes your speaking come across a little bit artificial and a little bit hemmed. So only try and use them when you genuinely think that you need them. For example, if you're asked what your name is, don't say, I need some time to think about that. It's your name, right? Do you understand what I mean? Try and only use them as appropriate throughout the speaking subtest. Only when you use them. And of course, it's important that you do practice them as much as you can, but get feedback from an expert teacher in terms of, is your usage of these phrases accurate, for one, and appropriate, but also, are you using them appropriately? Not underusing them and not overusing them. But use them as one part of your speaking arsenal to do incredibly well in all parts of the IELTS speaking exam, especially part 2 and part 3. Okay, guys, it's time to practice. So what I'm going to be doing now is there's going to be a link that's going to be coming in to the channel that you're watching on. Now, some of you are watching on Facebook, some of you are watching on YouTube, some of you are even watching on LinkedIn. I'm going to give now anyone a chance to come in and join me in the classroom today. You will see a link that says join here, StreamYard.com invite. Click on that link if you want a chance to come in and do a bit of speaking practice with me today. We're going to go through some part 3 questions, okay? It's a chance for you to practice your IELTS speaking and get a preview about what we do in the Swoosh English IELTS Scholarship. Even if you're not doing the Swoosh English IELTS Scholarship, and you're going to get some great free feedback today in your speaking part 3 responses. So all you have to do, guys, is click on that link, come into the studio today, and we'll go through a few practice questions with some of our candidates today. So I'm going to go through some feedback in terms of what you did well, what you could improve on as well. But I also encourage everyone who's maybe taking part in this session today is to try answering the questions yourselves as well. So if you want extra support and assistance, but you don't want to come in, or maybe you don't get a chance to do some speaking feedback today, I encourage you to try answering these questions by yourself as well. So looking forward to seeing some candidates come in today and join me for some speaking feedback. So looking forward to it. Just have a look at that link that you can see there. It says streamyard.com/blah, blah, blah, blah. That's the details. Click on that link and come into the session today to do some speaking feedback with me. Looking forward to giving you all the feedback I need. Got my paper and my pen ready here for candidates who want to do a little bit of feedback with me today. So I'll just wait until we are ready. I'm going to need to have some people come in today to do the speaking feedback with me. So please click on that link, come in and join the session, guys. And yeah, we'll get some lovely feedback coming in board here with our IELTS Speaking Masterclass. All right, let's just wait and have some candidates come in today. All right, cool. We've got a candidate that's come in today. Let's have a look at Abigail. Abigail Arevalo, I'm going to turn on your microphone in a second and give you a chance to come into the studio. So I'll turn on your microphone and then we'll get started. So Abigail, I'm adding you to the stream now in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Hello, Abigail.
Hello,
Nice to meet you. How are you today?
I'm fine.
Good to hear. So tell me a bit about yourself. Where are you from? Abigail, can you hear me? Oh, Abigail, are you there? Okay, I guess Abigail's internet isn't working too well. Would anyone else like to come in and get a chance to do some speaking practice with me today? I see some candidates today are saying I'm not confident enough yet. That's completely fine. There always will be a degree of shyness and nerves that happen with the IELTS speaking exam. That's completely fine. But we always get better when we're actually putting ourselves out of our comfort zone, guys. So no judgment. Come in today, enjoy the chat. I'm trying to be as nice and friendly and welcoming as possible to get a chance for your speaking feedback. So we got another candidate who's joined us, Milka. I'm going to turn on your microphone in 3 seconds. Hope that you're able to join me. Milka, 3, 2, 1. Hello, Milka. You're currently on. Milka, can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
Fantastic. How are you today?
I'm fine, thank you.
And tell me a bit about yourself. Where are you from?
I'm from Kenya.
From Kenya. Very nice. And have you taken or planning to take your IELTS exam?
Yeah, I'm planning to take it.
And when do you plan to take it?
Maybe September.
September. And are you prepared yet?
I'm on the process of preparations.
In the process of preparing. Fantastic, Milka. All right, so I'm going to go through a few speaking questions with you today. Are you ready?
Sure.
All right, so I want to start talking about the topic of film and cinema. For this one only, I'm going to keep the card on the screen so everyone else can see what I'm talking about in the session as well. So Milka, just think about your response. Think about using some of those phrases to buy some time today if you can as well. and do your best. Enjoy the experience as much as possible. So,
Okay.
Milton, first question is, do you think the cinema has increased or decreased in popularity in recent years?
Okay. In my opinion, cinema has decreased since with the improved technology we have YouTube where people normally do watch. We have Netflix. We have Showmax where people are normally using them to watch videos instead of going for cinemas.
So, what are the advantages and disadvantages of making films of real life events?
Well, for the advantage of making films in real life events, it is kept like a memory, especially in what do I call them? Mm, It's like a real life. It keeps people keep it as a memory.
Souvenir.
Yeah, and for the disadvantages, um, disadvantages of film. Okay.
No worries. How important do you think it is for a filmmaker to remain true to the original story?
It's very important to remain true since most of the people now, even photoshopping has become so much, but when something is real, it makes someone to be trustworthy, and people may like watching those films for that specific person.
Thank you. Should films and television be censored, or should we be free to choose what we see?
On my opinion, they should be free to choose because we have different likes and dislikes.
Hmm.
So it becomes easier if I choose whatever I want to watch.
And how do you think censorship laws will change in the next 20 years?
Um, I'm not sure about that, but I hope by the next 20 years it will change the laws, since some to avoid some edits to be seen by maybe young children, or whereby they are exposed to some things which are not supposed to be seen.
All right. There you go, Milka. There's a little snapshot of part 3 of the speaking exam. How are you? How do you think you did?
As the first one, I'm just trying.
Just right. I like your optimism. That's perfect. Remain optimistic for sure.
Yeah,
So, well done. Thank you very much for being the first to come along. You showed great bravery and courage in doing that, and that should be commended. Well done.
thank you.
So, did you, in thinking about your entire performance, think that you did well to control the situation with these difficult questions?
Hmm.
And did you use any phrases to buy some thinking time?
For the prices, I've not used them. It
Mhm.
can't be by a surprise, by the way.
Use a couple of short ones, yeah. That's good. And think about in terms of when you are doing your IELTS practice, and we at Swoosh and Connetics can help you with that with our free IELTS scholarship if you're interested. Think about how we can use those phrases and those key terms, put them into
Mm-hmm.
practice as well. And do you think you developed your answer with good examples as well?
Is somehow not 100%.
Somehow, good answer. I like that. So let's go through a little bit of feedback for you today, Milka. That's what I want to give you. So in terms of your pronunciation, yeah, your pronunciation was really, really good. In terms of, I thought you were quite accurate and you were natural and easy to understand. There was one word I did pick up a very, very minor pronunciation error. It's the word decreased. You said
Mm-hmm.
decreased, for example.
Oh,
I think you were speaking quite quickly. So decreased,
oh,
decreased.
noted on that.
It's okay. It's okay. Just take a note of that in your pronunciation. Get feedback on your pronunciation as well. But I thought you're a very, very clear speaker, and that's very, very good. In
Thank
terms
you.
of your fluency and coherence, I thought that you were just a little bit rapid when you spoke. I think you could maybe slow that down a little bit and think about your pausing. Where should you pause in the middle of a sentence?
Mm-hmm.
And how can you also then pause between new sentences as well? I
Sure.
thought that your speaking speed was appropriate apart from that, but you could probably make use of a few more words and phrases to connect your ideas together mid sentence. Okay. Your grammatical range and accuracy thought was pretty good. There weren't very
Okay.
many. There weren't very many simple errors there, but I did have one, and you said "do the watch." When we do the watch at the film, we don't need "do" and "watch." We would say "watch the film," not
Okay.
"do the watch of the film." That was one small error I picked up on.
Mm-hmm.
And in terms of your lexical resource, well, we'd like to see a bit more of a variety and flair of different language being used. Okay. So
Okay.
I did, of course, pick up that you were a bit nervous today. That's completely fine. Don't worry. But you're at the starting point in your IELTS journey. What we want to see to get you a 7 or 7.5 or above would
Mm-hmm.
be more structure to your answers. Okay. How to
Yeah.
answer part B questions appropriately with supporting examples, with analysis, and with closure.
Mm.
With that will come more structure. It will also have, they'll be more developed and they'll be a bit longer too. And that's where it comes down to here, Milka, is figuring out how to answer your part 3 questions across a
Mm-hmm.
variety of topics, not just film and cinema. There'll be lots of different topics and putting
Yeah.
that into practice. Oh, sorry, Milka. I have one more small error I heard that you say. You said, on my opinion. Is that correct?
Yes.
Sorry, it's not. It's in my opinion.
In my opinion.
In my opinion, not on my
Oh,
opinion. So
noted.
that's
Thank you.
completely fine. You're fine. It's completely a small error. So yeah, Milka, it's just about now taking those small feedback things in place
Yeah.
and getting that developed up to a level that you're able to pass your IELTS exam through consistent speaking practice and feedback. And
Mm.
then once you're ready, take the exam and you'll be good.
Thank you.
You're very, very welcome. Thanks a lot for joining me today. Appreciate it.
I appreciate too. Thank you.
All right, guys. Hope that you enjoyed that session. I'm seeing some lovely comments come in here. We got one from Yaya. It said, "Yeah, hey, Milka, fantastic, good. Thank you very much, Yaya, for your comments." Anyone else want to give in your comments and your well wishes for Milka today? Shows great bravery coming on board and doing some speaking practice with me today, and that's one part of IELTS speaking success. And that is, of course, developing that confidence, getting rid of that anxiety, and going into the exam feeling as confident as you can. So guys, if you're enjoying this session so far today, there will be some more speaking practice coming in a moment. Give us a like, give us a comment, give us a follow on the Connetics USA channel. We'd love to have you pass your IELTS exam with us and go through all the useful information that Connetics USA and Swoosh English will give you for your American dream healthcare job as well. I'm seeing lovely comments coming in here as well. Akil is saying, awesome. I'm glad that you're appreciating the session today. And a few others are also saying hello too. So thank you very much, guys, for all of the lovely comments and the well wishing. Now, let's move on to, oh, I'm going the wrong way. Let's go the right way, guys. Let's now get into our second speaking practice today. Now we're going to speak a little bit about travel and transport. So I'm going to give another student a bit of a chance today to come in and join me. Kim Porto is in the session. So Kim, I'm going to give you a chance now to do some speaking practice with me. I'm going to turn on your microphone in 3, that's 2, let's try again. 3, 2, 1. Kim, you are currently live. Can you say hello?
Hello? Yeah,
Hi,
hello.
Kim. Can hear you.
Can you
I
hear
can
me?
hear you. How are you?
Okay. I'm just fine, having some kind of trouble after the duty.
Okay, okay. So lovely to meet you, Kim. Tell me a bit about yourself.
Wait, I'm not expecting this one, but I thought we're gonna be so many here in the studio, but I wasn't aware that I'm just the only one.
Well, I think lots of people are just too are a little bit anxious about coming in today.
Oh,
Maybe I'm
yeah.
maybe I'm really scary. I don't know. People don't want to practice with me. I don't know.
Oh,
So
just
Kim,
I
here
just
you
want
are.
to try this one. Oh yeah. Oh, well, I'm Kim Porto. I'm 31 years of age, and I live currently here in the Philippines.
Nice to meet
As
you, Kim from the Philippines.
I'm
So
a
what?
registered nurse for almost, I don't know, maybe 10 years or
Mhm.
11 years, something like that.
That's
Yeah.
lovely. So what's your plan then with your IELTS preparation and your job future as well?
Well, luckily, I just had an offer in the US of A to work in there, and currently processing my eligibility for the NCLEX examination. And I'm not quite sure if I'm going to take the IELTS first, but of course, I have to take it step by step first. So maybe I'll have to move on first on the NCLEX before the IELTS exam.
All I'll say is do not underestimate the IELTS exam. Lots of
Yeah.
candidates put the IELTS exam aside and they focus on the NCLEX and realize, oh my goodness, the IELTS exam, I needed to be a bit more focused with that. So do not underestimate the importance of that. But we can help you with that. And that's why you're here today.
And that's
Um,
great. That's great to
Kim,
hear. It's my pleasure to be here in your studio.
lovely, lovely.
First
So, first time is the worst time. Let's make it better. So, Kim, here are your questions. I'm going to ask you a few questions, and I want you just to answer them as naturally and honestly as you can. All right. So, Kim,
right.
how easy is it for you to travel around your country?
Okay. Let's move. Let's take back on the what do you call this, on the pre-COVID era.
Mm-hmm.
Before, it was really easy because you don't have to check on the vaccination card for the COVID-19 pandemic, as we've been encountering right now. So it takes about, I mean, a day for you to
Mm-hmm.
book on a place that you want to travel to. And but right now, because of the pandemic, you got a lot of requirements to pass or to do. For example, first one will be the, yeah, as I mentioned earlier, the vaccination card, and you have to register it in the airport or something in the airlines. They have to check it out first, and then the secondly, you have to make your uh, you have to have your, what do you call this, the what they call the RT-PCR test, or the antigen test for the COVID, as one of the prerequisite for you to travel here. If you're going to travel far from the place you were born, and then you're going to, because we have a three islands here in the Philippines. It's
Mm-hmm.
we are called the archipelago.
Mm-hmm.
So it's island by island, so we have to travel by sea or by plane through air. So
Okay.
yeah, so I
Oh,
think it's a little bit more hard to travel today in the recent years because of the pandemic, rather
okay.
than the
Okay, Kim, I'm just going to tell you your answer is great in terms of the detail, but we got to make it a bit more concise. We got to speak for about 40, 45, 50 seconds or so. So just think about that when you're answering the question. Can you answer the question as directly as you can, just for time management, like the real IELTS exam? Okay, but well
okay.
done.
No,
So, what? I'll answer question number three here. What are the pros and cons of low-cost air travel?
pros and cons of low cost air travel. As you as a traveler myself, everyone else would like to have a low cost air travel, but you have to weigh it for the positive and negative effect on traveling. For the pros, of course, if you have a low-cost air travel, then you can spend your money wisely. Like, you can attribute or budget your money into different things, like for Example, the food, the accommodation, and also on the other expenses like for the souvenirs. For the consequences of low cost air travel, I would say that it might be you can actually sure if you can save money for that. I guess I don't know.
All right. And should governments focus more on rail transport or road transports? Why have you decided your answer?
Mm, Here in the Philippines, as a comparison to other country, we are focusing right now more in the rail transport because it's much easier for us to
Mhm.
travel through train rather than through road because of the calamity or the weather.
Mm.
It's when it heavily rains here in the Philippines, it easily get flooded. Unlike in in the train transport, it is much it's more elevated than the road transport.
Mm. All right. Well, thank you very much for that, Kim. Well done.
I
How do you feel?
I don't know. I'm excited. I don't know. Maybe I didn't do well.
Oh, I love it when I ask that question. Everyone says, I didn't do well. There's always some positives to something as well. I always love when I ask that question. So let's go through a few queries and comments here and even assess if you did well in terms of using some of that thinking time and overall in your speaking process as well. Pronunciation, very strong. Some minor little phonic sound errors there, but nothing to measure. I did pick up one word that I thought that you could have improved your pronunciation of it. It's the word accommodation.
Uh,
Accommodation.
accommodation. Accom.
Perfect.
I don't know how did I say that?
It's a good question, actually. It wasn't accommodation, it was something shorter, okay? But let's break it down into syllables. Accommodation. It's 5 syllables, and you
Okay.
stress number 4. You stress the fourth.
Accommodate.
Accommodation.
Okay. All right.
Okay, so
I'm
that
gonna
was
take
pretty
note of
all right. So sorry, Kim, there's a slight lag here. I think that's why I'm speaking over you a few times. I'm not trying to be rude. Thank you. So in terms of fluency and coherence, I think you're quite a fluent speaker in terms of when you get going and you're talking about the point. What we got to do is try and avoid those ahs or those ums or those pauses, either in the middle of a sentence or before you start speaking. There were a few times when I asked the question, there was about a 2-3 second pause. That's the perfect chance for you to use some of those phrases to buy some time. Oh, I'm not sure about that. Let me think about that. That's a great question. I'll have to answer it now. Something like that. To think
that.
about how you can buy some time before you start speaking, as you want to avoid those long pauses as much as possible as well. But the main thing I want to give you here in terms of feedback, Kim, is just to be aware of the structure of how you're speaking your answers. And really, to do well in that, Kim, you do have to, of course, plan ahead. Planning ahead is really, really important for IELTS overall. How would you answer a typical part 3 question? How would I paraphrase the question? How would I give an example? How would I analyze that example? How would I summarize? How can I do that within what is approximately, a 45-second time period per question? So practice comes into that. And alongside everything, your lexical resource, your grammar, your vocabulary, your fluency, your pronunciation, all of that will increase in tandem with it. So practice, 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 learn the IELTS exam formats, do it well, get feedback is your key to passing the IELTS exam with the score that you need. So keep all of that in mind, my friend.
Yeah. Notes it.
All
Thank you
right.
for the advice.
You are very, very, very welcome. Remember, accommodation and everything else, and think about that structure and use some more of those phrases to buy time, and that will improve a lot more about your exam. Okay.
Okay. Thank you.
You're very welcome, Kim. Thanks a lot for joining us today. I appreciate your time. Good luck with
I
everything.
know I can do it on the second time.
I'm sure that you can, my friend. I'm sure that you can.
Thank you.
Thank you. You're very welcome. All right, guys, we've got time for one more very, very quick response before we finish up. So we're going to do a question on media and the news. I am going to give the mysterious Mr. J a chance to come into the studio now. Mr. J, I'm turning on your microphone in three, two, and one. Mr. J, you are live. Can you turn on your microphone, please?
Oh, hello. Good evening, everyone. Thank you for the opportunity.
Hi, Mr. J. How are you today?
I'm doing great. It's evening here in our country, and I'm
You're
excited to do this speaking.
you're very welcome, Mr. J. So tell me about then quickly what your American dream is with your IELTS and your job.
I'm a registered nurse. I'm based in the Philippines, and
Mhm.
I'm aiming to get uh, band 7 for speaking.
Well, we hope that we will get you band 7 and get you over to the USA as much as
Please
possible.
pray for me.
All right, Mr. J, thank you very much. Going to go through a few quick questions here for you on the topic of media and news. Question one: how do most people in your country get the news in the Philippines?
That's interesting question. For now, since our mainstream media was just recently shut down, the most common source of information in our country is actually through social media. Like, for example, YouTube. So it's very convenient. So people just get their device and
Mhm.
open YouTube and look for the specific news that they wanted, and they actually look for it and be able to get updated with the news on a particular day. So I would say that YouTube is the most information sources that we get for news.
And how do you think people will get their news in the future?
I believe due to the innovation that we have in technology, uh, it would be more accessible, or it would be more convenient to have uh, gadgets aside from we are actually using in the past. We are using newspapers, we are using radios, but I believe it will be more on gadgets like cell phone and smaller gadgets that's very convenient and easy to bring anywhere you go. So that's it.
And do you believe that newspapers have a future in the age of the internet?
I don't really agree on that because we are starting to transition from papers to a paperless way of delivering our news. Like I just mentioned earlier, that we are now utilizing the internet and our gadgets when it comes to delivering the news, when it comes
Mhm.
to spreading information, and even the schools are actually adapting in the new technologies. I believe that newspaper is already obsolete.
Okay, I have one more question. Do
Mhm.
you, sorry, how has social media, question number five, how has social media changed the way we get and share the news?
Oh, with the use of social media, it's quite advantage, or it's quite friendly to everyone, because even if you are traveling, you just have to catch up with the news that
Mm,
you actually you were not able to catch up. You just
mm,
have to turn on your gadget, or maybe your device while you are driving, or even if you are on the train, then you just have to get your AirPods and play it in your cell phone. Then you will be able to be updated on the current news that we have. So I believe with the use of the technology that we have, it's more easier, it's more convenient, and it's um, more friendly to get updated with the news that we have.
all right. Thank you, Mr. J. Well done. How
You're
did you
welcome.
do? Relax. How did you do?
I'm not quite sure. I cannot examine, or cannot give myself a score, but I think I need a few improvements, especially with the fillers and many other
Mm.
things.
Well, in terms of these three questions, I think you did stayed in control of the situation quite well. You were quite able to respond to the questions quite effectively and answer them appropriately. You did use some phrases to buy some time, such as "that is an interesting question, well done." And I thought that there was quite an appropriate development of your answer with appropriate examples as well. So well done with that. In terms of how can that be refined any more, well, let's go through a couple of pronunciation errors I picked up on, okay? One was
Sure.
the word,
I would love to learn or to know about that.
okay. First word, you said obsolete. It's obsolete, obsolete.
Okay, I got it. Thank you.
Train, not tren. Train, not tren.
Mm-hmm.
And innovation.
Innovation.
Innovation, long A.
Innovation.
Perfect. The third syllable is that long A sound. Those are a few small things I picked up with your pronunciation. Okay.
Thank
Now,
you for
one thing I also heard here as well was you said it is quite advantage. So, advantage is an adjective or a noun. Sorry, it's a noun. I apologize. But what is the adjective form of advantage? Do you know?
Actually, I got lost, but since I already mentioned about that, I just continued.
Sure. Advantageous is the adjective. So
Yeah, that's
it is quite advantageous is the adjective you would use to describe something. Okay. A couple of small, very, very small grammatical errors there. For example, in the past we are versus in the past we were. But I thought you did a
mm-hmm.
pretty good job with that question, Mr. J. Honestly, I really, really do. I think that you were able to develop the questions quite well. I thought that overall your pronunciation, fluency, and coherence, grammatical range, and accuracy, and lexical resource was very good. A nice variety of more complex vocabulary like innovation, obsolete, other phrases like that were really, really nice. Just try and get extra feedback on your speaking in terms of what your errors are, how you can improve them, and also more importantly, just refine everything so you can rock up and answer that question.
Mm-hmm. I appreciate that. So, if I ask you how much time do I need for me to get the band 7 for speaking?
Oh, that's a very good question. And to be honest with you, Mr.
I have
J,
to learn about that.
what you should do is come and join us at the Swoosh English Connetics Scholarship, and we will figure that out all for you because we'll get you a
I'm already
session
part
benchmark.
of the scholarship, but my bad because I haven't given time to check on the free resources. But I will give time on that.
Sure. Well, what we do is we do all of that for you. What you need to do, of course, is know what your current level is by doing a realistic mock test. And then with that mock test, you will then get an indication from your teacher. Okay, you're currently here. You need to get here, do X, Y, and Z to get there. My
Mm-hmm.
opinion is I don't think it'll be a lot of work, Mr. J, but I can't actually say right now exactly what that is. Okay.
Okay, thank you. Thank you so much.
You are very welcome. Good luck with everything, and it was lovely speaking to you today.
My pleasure. God bless you. Bye bye.
Thank you. All right, guys, we're going to wrap up this session now. Thank you very, very, very much for coming on board today, and to our speakers today for taking part in some IELTS mock speaking practice. Let us know in the comments how you thought the speakers got on, and let us know in the session today if you enjoyed the session today and found it useful for your IELTS speaking practice as well in the long run. So a couple of questions to reflect. What did you enjoy today? What did you enjoy in today's lesson as well? And even think, what do you still need to improve to do really well in your own IELTS mock speaking practice? Throw some comments into the chat box. We love reading them. We love seeing them as we want to help you with your IELTS speaking. Just a reminder, if you are a qualified and experienced nurse looking for your dream healthcare job in the USA, you're currently thinking about your IELTS preparation, you're not sure how to proceed, or you haven't even put any preparation in yet, you think that you might struggle, don't. We can help you out with that because we can help you pass and prepare for your IELTS, move to the USA, and get your dream healthcare job for completely free with Swoosh English and Connetics USA as part of the free Connetics USA and Swoosh English IELTS scholarship. It is completely free. In the review, you're going to get access to all of our completely comprehensive course with modules and milestone exams, writing corrections, live classes, mock exams, a readiness test. We partner you with speaking partners, and you get round-the-clock support from the Swoosh English and the Connetics teams and more, plus a few other things such as weekly IELTS classes, study groups, Facebook group, a Telegram support group, a monthly raffle for completely free, and IELTS support specialist support as well. There's a reason why Swoosh English and Connetics USA are ranked 4.9 out of 5 on Trustpilot, because we do what we want to do, get you in those healthcare jobs for quicker and for cheaper. But in this case, completely free. So all you have to do, guys, is click on the link that you're now seeing appear on Facebook, on YouTube, and on LinkedIn, wherever you are watching. That's bit.ly/Swoosh/USA, and get signed up today to the Swoosh English IELTS Scholarship. So guys, it's been an absolute pleasure having you guys in the session today. Click on that link, join one of the many successful Swoosh English and Connetics IELTS Scholarship students. It's been lovely having you today in this mock speaking class as well. Enjoy the rest of the classes that Connetics are putting on for you throughout the month. We will see you for the next one with Swoosh English very, very soon. Have a great day. Thanks a lot for attending, everyone, and take care. See you later. Bye-bye.